Rated at egg. All right, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Breakdown, which is the fancy new name for the AMA show that we've been doing all year long on Twitter and Discord. My name is Joshi. With me is Bernie, as usual, and Jason is a disembodied voice, so we can see his breaker picture there at the bottom. How you doing today, Bernie?
I'm doing pretty good, Joshi. Thanks for having me.
And Jason?
Doing great. It's Thursday, which means tomorrow's Friday.
Excellent. Basically the weekend. So the breakdown, as I mentioned, basically just a restyling with visual elements now that we have a game and cool art and visual novel and things to look at on our website. Makes more sense now to start moving to other formats and Twitter Spaces. This is just a personal rant. It's changed a bit, right, in the NFT system as well as just Twitter in general. People have kind of tried various things with Twitter Spaces. We tried a bunch of things. So, we might go back to Twitter Spaces in the future, but right now we're intent on showing off lots of cool things that we're making. So the breakdown from here forward still might not be weekly, still working on schedule, bi-weekly, whatever it may be. International time zones are still in consideration. This is still kind of a rough draft first run of the show, but keep in mind, like in the future, we'll have things like user-generated content and polls and perhaps Twitch extensions. We might also broadcast to other platforms besides Twitch. So all of these things still being considered as we push forward and continue to build everything. But we have not done a show for everyone since August 19th, and that was the experience sort of reveal live happening of all the eggs minting and play to mint going live. There were a lot of moving pieces all at one time that some of the pieces worked as we expected immediately and some did not. So we didn't really have the cleanest walkthrough of our Gribble experience that we would have liked. Now, of course, we're a few weeks in. Everyone has seen the Twilight Shift companion game with the daily mission of gathering resources, as well as things like Adrian's Sanctuary, the visual novel, and things like the lore, where you can click around, learn more about Gribbles and the world in general. So, Bernie, what's your feeling been like these last few weeks, finally having everyone dip their toes into our Duskbreakers world a bit more?
I mean, it's been really exciting. I mean, I'll acknowledge that there have been bugs and little adjustments and tweaks that we've been making as the team has filled it out. But I mean, before this whole experience started, we promised a lot that you could do that a user, a holder could do once the experience started, and I feel that we did fulfill that. With a lot. I mean, yes, it's an ambitious experience with a lot of moving parts, a lot of systems talking to each other that are synchronized together. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely not perfect, let's be honest, but pretty happy that we have this really, really multi-level, multi-platform experience for you all. And this is just V1 of it, of multi-platform experiences. Not saying there's going to be a V2 of the Gribble experience specifically or the Gribble Egg experience specifically, but the DNA or the idea of doing these multi-platform experiences that cover games and story and NFTs, working together as a kind of a triangle and as a basic form. Love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I see some of our more frequent users are filling into the Twitch chat now. We've got Yuzu, Dilu, Jasmine, Zaga, a bunch of our gamers and lore fans as well. So definitely let us know in the Twitch chat as well, and we can riff off of that stuff throughout the show. That's another benefit of doing these live formats here instead of Twitter Spaces. You kind of have to call people up to stage. It's really confusing. You don't really know if anyone can hear you, but now it's a little more interactive, and I appreciate that, of course. So definitely community, anytime you guys have something to say or ask, we might just tackle it immediately since this is the community-focused show. So yeah, things like Twilight Shift, the story. I could actually switch view right now and show you my egg collection as just a refresher or perhaps even a first look for people who have not actually gotten an egg yet or checked out the egg experience. This video, of course, will go onto YouTube and be watchable by people after the live show. So we want to make sure that anyone checking it out after the fact still has an idea of what's going on. So I, of course, had lots of breakers. Let's say I had 20 breakers. I think it was 19 Yeah, I've got a few eggs down here without pairs, but for the most part, I claimed a bunch of eggs. I minted a few from Play to Mint, and then I was on my way gaining this Omnigrow. And Omnigrow, of course, is what we use to evolve our eggs. All of mine are level 5, as you can see here. Nice little animation, great art on the different stages and levels of all the eggs. But I have some Omnigrow left over. Up here in the top right, you can see I have about 6,100. My options now are basically I can go onto OpenSea and get more secondhand eggs as a potential thing to continue to use my Omnigrow, because as of right now, there's not really any intended future use for Omnigrow. So just if you've already maxed out your eggs, you can, of course, continue to prospect, continue to do your dailies and story. Of course, we would love for you to continue doing that. So I suppose now we'll since we're on the topic of Omnigrow, we'll touch on some of the issues and the recent change that we made with Omnigrow. Jason is here as well to help us clarify if I stumble here. But essentially, Omnigrow, we wanted to design the system for this pre-reveal of Gribbles. Our next collection of NFTs will be playable game assets. We wanted to fill the time before they became playable assets by having this cool pre-reveal event, the egg experience and all that stuff. The Omnigrow, of course, initially was meant to reward you for doing things like playing the game, checking out things on the website. And we had the difficult task of forecasting how many Gribble eggs would be claimed, minted, play to mint, and so on, as well as the difficult task of designing Omnigrow points for multiple categories of holders. So we had some people with only a couple of eggs or no breakers. They would be coming in for the first time and only having eggs. We had some people, power users. I had 19. That's kind of a lot in most people's eyes. Some people have 100 or more. So designing for everyone and keeping everyone happy was a pretty difficult task. It was a big challenge for us in the months leading up to the experience. Now, the actual execution, when it comes to wallets, accounts, the actual attribution and accumulation of Omnigrow, also not a perfect science. This was also something that we were trying for the first time and building a lot of these systems for the first time. So there ended up being a couple of issues with people seeing their Omnigrow, a couple of issues with display errors, a couple of issues with people actually playing Twilight Shift but not getting credit. Their 100 Omnigrow per day, that took some investigation. In some issues, it was purely, MetaMask not being selected on the Ethereum mainnet, or they had 2 wallets that they were participating with on the same PC, or a number of things that just occurred that bubbled up that we had not prepared for, did not have ample time to test for. So one of the resolutions that we came up with in order to satisfy people who'd not collected points as they'd expected or felt that they would not be able to reach level 5 in the 6-week period that we laid out was to now have Omnigrow apply to all of your eggs simultaneously. Any amount that you spend is applied to all of your eggs. And that is a solve that still allows our earliest users, our earliest claimers and placement participators who did Twilight Shift and kept up with Adrian's Sanctuary to get their maximum value and then some. They now have the potential to go, like I could, go onto OpenSea and get more eggs now where potentially I could not before. So we're hoping that the resolution satisfies the people that were most deeply affected and doesn't upset anyone too much who did put in a lot of effort, because we do still have several weeks left. We do still want to entice people to come into the project today and still feel that they have the ability to be part of this OG class of Gribbles, the original Gribbles, and still have time to be able to hit level 5 and be a part of that first wave where everyone after the 6-week experience, they're still starting second wave after the rest of you. So I'm hopeful that everyone's going to be happy with this resolution. Bernie or Jason, want to tackle any part of what I said there, or does that feel like an ample explanation?
I'll jump in a little bit. First, I want to say that while Omnigrow, you mentioned that Omnigrow itself may not be used again in the future. What I want to make clear is that the system behind it, the points, for a more generic term, the point system that we've developed is very, very good tech in the end. It's been iterated on thanks to everyone's feedback. on how we created this whole setup. And we do plan to figure out how to use it in the future. Clearly, having a points and experience point system in a gaming company sounds like a good fit. So the team has spent a lot of time and effort building that system out amongst the other things that we've been building. So we just, you can't forget about the little things, the tech parts that drive some of these experiences in a much more gamified way. The only thing I would add to the other part of what you were saying was just in terms of some further clarity, is that when we had first set up the game, this gamified system, the OmniGrow, the points were essentially going to accounts more than they were going to the NFTs. And I think that is the correction that we really saw was, wait a second, you could see the meta happening. We could see a meta happening where people were creating multiple accounts because it was so account focused and not NFT focused. And so as part of that we were trying to get back to a place where we could then, we had to change the meta of the experience a bit to then shift the point structure more towards the NFTs and their leveling, their growth versus the account itself. We definitely wanted we definitely want the NFTs to be the focal point and not the account itself. So that is then why we made this shift to make sure that the meta felt more on again on the assets than they were on the accounts. I'll just kind of finish up there.
Good, clear explanation there. So September 30th is a date we have pegged now as sort of the end of the experience incubation. So a couple of weeks left. That still could move, but that is September 30th is what we have in mind here. So continue to check the site. Of course, I'll show you as well. We've got other missions. We've got Adrian's Sanctuary. I'm not sure if I'm even caught up. Yes, I am. Well, no, actually, I still have the Red Warrens, Dust Tech, and You Break It, You Take It to click through here. Some of these are the webcomic chapters, and Adrian's Sanctuary specifically, since we do have Bernie here, I'll pull up this one of the more recent chapters here where Adrian is addressing one of the Breakers' questions from Oh No, Not Joe, just as a visual here. Well, Bernie, you can walk us through, since Adrian's Sanctuary started on August 19th. This is the first time we've really checked in with the community. So why don't you catch us up to speed with what's going on there?
Yeah, so the Adrian Sanctuary experience is a visual novel experience that was designed to be our main story driver of what was happening in like the narrative lore. So we're doing three chapters a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll conclude at chapter 16. At least that's the current plan, being flexible though. And as Joshi mentioned, for like chapter 11 and I believe chapter 6 or chapter 7 are what we dub Q&A episodes. This is something that I've done in my work previously, and this initiative was spearheaded by Jen Enfield Kane. And what that is that the character Adrian is reacting or actually responding to questions or comments that you, the community, have that you put into our Discord, directed at him. So you're asking Adrian a question, and so forth. So so the visuals, by the way, if you're looking for what we're talking about, yeah, this is why Discord is kind of weird, huh? It's on Twitch, so I'll put it here in the chat. The chat being on Discord. So hold on. So there that is, and so that's what the visual novel is. Now, visual novels, I've been a part of interactive storytelling since like Web 1. Okay, so but maybe not visual, more like text-based, like kind of choose your own adventure or pick this way, go this way type thing. So we by no means state that the tech on our visual novel itself is anything super advanced. It's actually, in my opinion, honest opinion, it's basically enough to qualify as a visual novel. And I say this lovingly because we did build this very quickly, and it's the first version of our system here. If you've experienced other visual novels, sometimes they have more animation, there's sound, sometimes there's music. These are other things that are very standard in the visual novel systems. But what makes ours unique is, one, it's interactive, as in like, we didn't pre-write everything. So obviously, given the questions and answers that Adrian can do when he answers your questions, we obviously couldn't write those answers until you, the community, asked the questions. Right. So Oh, thanks, WitLogic, who says Adrian Sanctuary is excellent and it's my favorite part of the project. Wow. Thanks. This is something where, like, it was an early promise of myself and my work coming and my team coming onto this project was like to inject interactive storytelling mechanisms into this and doing things that are at the very least more advanced than what you would see in a basic system. Now, these aren't games where, we are building games, but this system is not necessarily a game. It may have some gamified experiences and so forth, but this is a basic build of this. And so what you'll see in the future for us, for visual novels, is that, well, we've done one. Now we can do another one. Now we can make a more advanced one. And one thing I just forgot to talk about was that what does make this visual novel special, aside from the interactivity, is that it actually informs and connects to the other parts of the experience, right? You read the visual novel, you get some Omnigrow. Like, you read the visual novel, you kind of understand the narrative of why you need to go to the Red Warren and how you need to incubate and power up your eggs. And another thing I thought was really cool that the writers did, and I can completely give them credit on this, Tavius, Molly, Peter, and so forth, and Jen, is that they actually incorporated some of the canonical breakers that many of you hold into the narrative. They're not like main characters per se, and they're not like dominating the story because this is Adrian's story, but they're there. And so this is starting to, at least the very basics, starting to pay off what we are, what we promised in building community with stories, like having you guys be involved with a narrative, and we're going to continue to evolve that. So that's been really cool. Another thing is, as those of you who are on Twitch can see that Joshi is clicking through around the Duskbreakers lore section of the website. And if you're not on, if you're listening to this on Discord, you can just go to the Duskbreakers lore section of the website. And you saw us like elevate and expand out a lot of the lore pages here. And we're starting to change some of the voices, as in how the lore pages are written, so they feel a little more in-world, like they're from like Dust Tech or some scientist's brief or something like that, to kind of give it a more expansive feel to it. And also, this is also connected to the egg experience as well, because it rewards Omnigrow, right? Like it doesn't reward a ton, but it does kind of give you a little bit more by you experiencing or consuming and expanding on the lore and the story and the narrative as we go. So very happy about that. I say that at the very core of what we did is that we have a game, we have NFTs, and we have a story, right? And it's a kind of like this triangle that's all kind of connected together. Obviously, there's a lot of things that are still being handled and enhanced and tweaked and so forth, but the basics of that pyramid, that triangle, is connected. And pyramid's not a great word for that. Triangle is connected. So that's what so far so good for that part. So I'll say that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Synergy.
Yes. Synergize. So yeah, excellent offerings from the story and writing team here at Duskbreakers. I see Jasmine, also a fan of the story and art, and also has made a bunch of suggestions and asked a lot of questions. So thank you, Jasmine, for your participation in particular. And I want to remind everyone, we do have the Ask Adrian channel in Discord, as Bernie mentioned, and that is actually just a great place to ask any sort of lore questions, whether it's Adrian specific, Gribble specific, incubation, whatever, or if it's about Dusk Tech or Machafuko, I mean, might as well drop those questions there, and that at least gives our team a good idea as well as of what you're interested in. And then we also have the Story World chat, which we'll continue to build on, and we do enjoy the community submissions of their breaker backstories and things like that. So we're still figuring out how exactly to toe that line of creativity and our own official lore and story, but it is fun, obviously, being creative as often as we can. So we've had contests in the past. Speaking, trying to do the segue here, we do actually currently have a contest live. It is not a creative contest, but it is a Twilight Shift and Beast Battler contest to hit 1 million points and join the club of 1 million points. So I'm going to switch cameras here and actually log into Twilight Shift so that we can chat while I gather some resources. But what should we talk about here while I get logged in? I guess Twilight Shift, the gameplay itself, the daily mission. We could talk about, the gameplay. And ooh, my music is loud. I totally forgot to tone it down.
Oh, we can't even. I can't hear it.
You
We're,
you
we're,
are
we're, in,
Streamo.
we're in the back end system here, so of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, Jason. Talk
I
about.
was just going to say, we didn't talk about the meta early on, but we knew the game had a particular, way of style in order to get the most materials, break the most materials for the most points, was to get down to the lower levels, thanks to our very own Style Piggy, who was certainly works with the team directly that created the game. And so we got to see right before the mint. We were watching part of the time we were killing on mint night was watching Style Piggy play and get pretty far in that. She was past level 10, I think, that night. One of the things about the game is part of it is you're just having fun going around breaking materials. Some of it is like diving down immediately to level 4 or 5 and really getting into collecting your materials quickly and then getting out to hit your daily mission. And then we see others like little Yuzu and such that are like out there scoring 70 million points in the game because they're just trying to get as far as they can down in the levels to see what the game is, how it plays down there when it becomes like that crazy. I don't know if everybody's ever seen the crazy Mario Maker meme where like the fire pinwheels are just going crazy and the person's like hopping in between them adeptly, because I know that when the lower you go, that the bigger the radar of the gribbles get, so pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
But I was gonna say, this is like just the beginning of this particular game. Really, again, like we wanted something to for the experience. And we are making plans to certainly that are in the works to take this further, to add more content to it, to make different play types. So this is the base, another base for us, certainly as it revolves around, as Bernie likes to say, dusk breaking. It certainly is on brand with what we with what our brand is, and revolves around the breaker. Bernie, if you want to talk about that.
I think you did. You said it quite well.
Yeah, it's dusk breaking.
We are called Dust Breakers. Dusk is a ship, and you go up and break them. You're a Dust Breaker as a character. Get your butt up there and break some dusk. That's the simplest way to do it, and this experience does that. I said this before about this game. I'm very impressed by our team, our amazing team of artists and designers and game designers and engineers and everything else I'm thinking of, that or the QA tech, right? UI, right? Who built this game very quickly in the grand scheme of things. That conceptually this thing did not exist. I mean, I could probably say conceptually this thing did not exist conceptually when we were doing the Beast Battler. So,
Right.
so that's how fast the thing came. And it's like such an advanced leap from that Beast Battler as a threshold. Dusk, tasty bacon, Dusk Breakers. Am I right?
So I'm in level 3 now. I've tried to show off a couple of the features, and I am actually using an armed drone. That's one more test thing, new feature for the game, is we can see part of our NFT represented in game. And we've done things with traits before, but this one actually has its own ability, which I broke through some rocks earlier to actually harvest. I can actually kind of demonstrate it again here just with this node. But if your breaker has arms, it can break for you, and that's a huge benefit. Oh, and he spied me. So
Also, one thing that I really liked that I didn't know of until the game actually launched was that the color of your drone is actually the color of the drone you use.
Exactly.
So that was kind of cool. I know the ideal situation here, everyone, is to have all your traits be shown and personified as your breaker. It's a little harder.
We'll get there.
It's a little harder. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It's a little more difficult, and especially since like a lot of your NFTs of your OG breakers, you're not in like armor. You're on the spaceship. So like, how do you depict that and make it feel that it's authentic to the experience? So, yeah, little like nuggets for the future. Again, pretty excited about it. I think I think we've all shown other people who are kind of in our social circles or our friends and family about this. I remember when one of my relatives I showed him this game, And I was like, and he's like, "What's this game?" It's like, "Oh, it's the game for Dustbreakers." He's like, "This is the game for Dustbreakers," and he's like, he was actually really surprised because it felt like again, like the time period, right? Like wait, this thing didn't exist. And like, yeah, they just like built this thing and like super fast. And their comments was like, well, just looking at it, it feels like, you know, a solid indie game. You know, not saying it's the best indie game, not saying it's the worst indie game. Okay, just like it feels like a very solid indie game with a lot of potential. And so when I look at that and I go, yeah, a lot of potential. This is just the beginning. You know, just these are early stages of this, and you know, we're just getting better. That's all. I'll stop.
So I'm going to go ahead and take the exit here, even though I have not finished my mission yet. But we're just going to continue the show. I'll demonstrate
Procrastinating.
that you can exit the dusk at one of those green exits, and then your score comes up. So this is a tip for the people going for 1,000,000 points. You can see that the red gems are worth 10 points each. The yellow gems are worth 100 points each. So at any point as you're walking around, it doesn't actually show your score as, you know, 800,000 or whatever, but you can hit I for inventory at any time and figure it out. So that's how I finished my 1,000,000 challenge, just barely above.
Yeah. So Josh, why would they need to score 1,000,000? Tell us about
They need to score 1,000,000 because we have the 1,000,000 point contest right now. You can check it out on twitter.com/duskbreakers or discord.gg/duskbreakers for all the information there. 2 NFTs are being given away, and that's ending tomorrow in about 24 hours. So if you have not tried to earn 1,000,000 points yet, just play Twilight Shift through our launcher. If you are on a Mac or otherwise unable to do that, you can play the Beast Battler and set a score of 40,000 as well. But the details are on Twitter and Discord for how you submit that screenshot of your scoreboard, which would look like this if I had 1,000,000 points, but I only have... Oh, wait. No, this is my previous 1,000,000 point score. So this is showing my high score that I set before, which is 1,005,430, because I barely crossed the threshold. But you can see Lil Yuzu at the top. We'll do some shout outs here. Lil Yuzu is 71 million. Next highest 31 million, Salizar. We've got Drummer, Jedion, Romario, Uaina, old school name popping up again from the Coineasy side. Hendel, Die With Honor, and Idol. Some new names there as well. So congrats to our top 9, and we'll do 10. Some more names here just so I can see, and of course Style Piggy showing up there as well.
Interesting. Josh is gonna go for the win of this NFT. I'm kidding. He's not eligible. He can't win. Don't worry. Just get your score.
Style Piggy said she retired because she didn't want to take over the leaderboard, and she wanted to allow the community to have a chance.
She's moved into game dev now, fully into game dev. You know, gamer to game dev pipelines is very strong.
Well, she also has the advantage of like she's been testing the game. So when she did that speed run and shocked and awe, I'm like, oh my god, this is how you play this game. I was like, oh, I'm not doing this right. I am not very good at this game, by the way. I think my lap like 6, and
so,
I just
enter that contest by tomorrow. We'll have another one kicked off. Probably next week. Again, we are looking more toward creative side of things, so possibly written or art contest could be in line next. No specifics, but keep you on your toes. And we want to continue to give you all fun activities to do aside from the dailies and Adrian's Sanctuary, which are already cool, but more the merrier. So again, if you have suggestions, ideas for contests, any of that stuff, again, we're open ears all the time. So drop us a line on Discord with any suggestions. But one thing that we should mention as part of the experience, we've pushed out a couple of sizzle reels, a couple of new videos. Nothing cinematic like the Payday cinematic, but art contest is great, says Kamisha. Okay, so we got at least one on board for the art contest. But yeah, sizzle reels. I don't have them on hand right now for the stream. I apologize. I'll be better prepared next time. It'll be a kind of a tricky thing to get playing right now for everyone, but you can definitely see those on twitter.com/duskbreakers. That is kind of our hub right now for communications outside of our own Discord. youtube.com/duskbreakers. We do also have that URL because we have over 200 subscribers there. Thank you to everybody following our social channels. Instagram.com/duskbreakersNFT is another place you can find us, but we do actually have more multimedia hopefully in the pipe as well as we lead up toward the end of the egg experience. And I don't know if we're able to tease anything. I don't know if Bernie wants to get people excited for something?
Bernie's doing his thinking face.
Yeah. You know, you'll just see it. Like I just say, you'll just see it.
You'll see it as per
Yeah.
usual.
Well, I think what we can say is, without saying what the actual concepts are, is that we're certainly, you know, things that are more engaging our community, giving folks a chance to, like with our previous like Mad Libs and other types of polls that we'll want to get, you know, community interaction with some of this. We're going to try to do some more funny stuff in world, play with some new, you know, some different formats. You know, a lot of stuff in that way that we just going to continue to expand the content side of things, because Bernie, we are a multi-platform experience, and certainly we're going to press. You know, this is why you hire somebody like Bernie as well, as because you want your content to be interactive, immersive, and Emmy winning, right, Bernie?
Sure.
Sure, why not?
Why not? No pressure.
Well,
No
we
pressure.
absolutely want it. It's just can we get it? So actually, maybe that's a sort of segue to more things Bernie can talk about, which would be the NFT license terms that are also net new since the last time we had a show. So you can find this on duskbreakers.gg, the website /news. And it is one of a second or third article there, but published this August 24th, just the week after the Experience kickoff. So let's fill everyone in on the gist of our first NFT license terms.
Yeah, and this took a bit. So you have this post here on the screen that you see, which is the one on the website, and then it's on news, for those of you can't see it, which is kind of our intro to what the terms are. And then there's a link to the terms, which is in here as well, which is the more lawyery part of it, like the hardcore terms, right? The basic high level, not a lawyer, not saying just saying we were trying to find this balance of what is a Web3 license term, like what's the meta of the Web3 license term, while also being in consideration of what we want to do with the franchise and what we want to do with the IP and the story going forward. So the basic meta when I was building this thing and working with the lawyers to build this thing was most collections, not the Creative Commons ones. So most collections were doing this. Hey, you can do whatever you want with the art of the NFT that you buy, but you don't get to own the IP. Like Azuki, for example, you can do whatever you can do a lot of things with the NFT that you get, but you can't say it's Azuki because Azuki's Azuki. And that's standard. That's how you protect the franchise of whatever it is: Dustbreakers, Azuki, Cool Cats, Bored Ape, whatever you want to do. So it's really like, hey, do what you want with the art. So if you want to put the art onto your restaurant, you want to print shirts, you want to sell those shirts with the art, cool. Like that's the basics of it. Okay. And so once we kind of got to that basic level, we like, okay, where can we push and where do we have to stop? Right. So the spirit of it, I say this a lot when we're talking about these terms, because in my experience dealing with terms and lawyers and entertainment and IP, is that, you know, there's the terms, which are going to have all these big words and all that stuff. And then there's also the spirit of the terms. Like, what are you trying to present with the terms? And hopefully this is synergized, right? This is working together. So the spirit of our terms, how I like to say it is this: we want you to do creative things with the NFT, the art. You have a breaker. If you want to do something cool with it, go do something cool with it, right? We want you to do that, right? And if you were successful in the thing, we would like the opportunity to chat with you, potentially partnering up and making the thing even bigger, which is why we have this kind of like trigger moment of like, if you generate a certain amount of revenue with it, then it allows us to have a conversation of like, I mean, maybe at that point your idea is so good, hey, let's partner together and make this even bigger together. Okay. And at the same time, you also want to protect the IP for everyone else, meaning that 1% of the audience is going to do something creative with their NFTs. Okay. And that's great. That's no problem. But the 99 other percent want to make sure the value of the NFTs and the IP stays strong, because that improves everybody. Okay. So it's that balance of being able to do stuff with it, and encouraging creativity, while at the same time kind of, making sure that we can do pie in the sky crazy stuff, right? So the example, kind of alluding to what Josh and Jason said earlier, and kind of my background is like, okay, if we go down making a full series, like an animated series, hypothetically, not promising this, not promising it, okay, but if you do that route, and we want to use breakers that potentially you, the community, own, right? And we want to be able to do a deal with like a big platform like an Amazon or Netflix to push this show out to the masses. If that were to happen, the theoretical value of Dustbreakers would be huge, right? Everybody wins. Every holder wins in that situation. Okay. But there are certain things that need to happen, be protected in order for us to make a deal like that, to be able to, for Amazon or Netflix, whoever, to say, hey, we want you to do this. We want you to put it on our platform. We're going to push it out worldwide and make it a zeitgeisty show. Right. So does every breaker need to be in there? All 10,000? No. Okay. The canonical breakers have to be in there? Potentially, yes. Ideally, it'd be cool, right? And we have to make sure that we have the ability to make that deal. Okay. So as an example of the negative of something contrast to this. So if you're Creative Commons with this instead, like you're one of the Creative Commons collections, it'd be very difficult for Amazon or a big studio to say, hey, we want to do this collection's anime show. Because they could just do it, but they don't know who to do the deal with. Like, who are they doing the deal with? Because it's Creative Commons, right? Like, they could just do it. So then it's a question of, like who gets the thing to happen. It's like it's nebulous. Not saying it's bad. It's just nebulous. So having these systems protected and in place so that everybody who's a holder, everybody's participating as a community, we all win together. That's the goal here. Hope that answers that question.
Yes, ideally. And obviously, a lot of these are going to be case by case. We may be covering territory that never gets tread, but obviously the spirit of it is what you walked through there, and that is the important part, is we can build together as appropriate. Yeah, Whitlock's just quick comment on topic here. Super interesting to see this commercial rights model emerging. It's very similar to what Forgotten Runes Wizards Cult is doing. We'll have to look that one up. I'm less familiar.
Because that's a tricky thing, right? It's like, because sure, a certain user may want to go and do their own show with the art of whatever collection, maybe not Dustbreakers, maybe their own thing, okay? But the other 99% of the users, the holders, they want the entire collection to go bigger, right? Like they want the whole thing to grow as value. So it's finding that balance with that and that system. So yeah, we'll have to check that one out. Thanks. What's his name? Whitlocks?
Yes, Whitlocks. And welcome, by the way, to the stream. They said in Discord they liked the switch to Twitch.
I got it. I saw it. Yes, logic. I put two and two together.
Yeah.
We could smile.
So that pretty much covers the set topics that we had, unless go ahead and kick me if I'm forgetting something, but that covers pretty much all of the egg experience. We showed the eggs, the lore pages for getting points, Twilight Shift, Adrian's Sanctuary. We talked about the 1,000,000 point contest, which again, you can submit a scoreboard on Twitter by this time tomorrow and potentially win one of 2 NFTs. One will also be canonized, so that'll be a lot of fun, adding to our growing roster. We talked about the NFT license terms that we introduced in the last month. Is there anything burning before we move to the AMA segment? Top of mind, I don't know.
Jason?
No, I think we can move in.
So in that case, we do have some questions loaded up from Discord. Some longtime holders, LJC and Lil Yuzu, left us some questions earlier, and Dilu now just dropped another one we'll get to. So if you do have questions in the Twitch chat, we've got that open now as well, but discord.gg/Dustbreakers, we have a channel dedicated to it, AMA chat. You can always leave questions for the team that will either answer right away or leave for a show like this. So Lil Yuzu is looking mostly toward the future of Gribble Game, while LJC was asking more questions about the Omnigrow issue, which we sort of tackled already. So I think we'll start with Lil Yuzu's Gribble game questions, which might be difficult to answer still at this moment, just prefacing. But Lil Yuzu, of course, asks for any additional info for the Gribbles, including are stat gains for Gribbles post-hatch possible? Soft yes. Whether they're permanent or temporary, or how you get them is still, to be determined. The game itself is still very much, in the air and unrevealed, so it will be difficult to answer these. What happens to unminted Gribbles on day of hatch? That's something perhaps that we can tackle. Jason, if you've got something top of mind.
Unminted Gribbles. It's football season. So we can certainly tackle it.
It's Thursday night football season.
Tackle
football. I used to work for Twitch and Amazon, so this is I'm not being paid, but there's a plug that there's the football game tonight is on Prime. So
yeah, across broadcasting instant.
Don't go watch it. Yeah.
So I was gonna say here that not all the details are fully fleshed out. But I would say to the end of towards this question, give me sorry, Josh, you set me up one more time so sure. I just have the right
Absolutely. Bit. The exact question was, what happens to unminted Gribbles on day of hatch?
Yeah, so we'll continue to, this is something we're discussing. At this time, we believe that leaving the option for folks to play to mint open beyond the end of this period, and because there's no real reason for us that when we're wanting to get, again, one of our goals, if you've heard it or not, is you said, when you aspire to do great things, you set very aspirational goals, and then the goals that you might hear is 1 billion people, bringing 1 billion gamers into Web3 gaming, right? And so in order to do that, you don't always have to come out of the gate, especially when you're building games and you're building game assets and playable characters, that they may not sell out right away. And that's okay, because I think some people are probably in a wait and see mode to see where this goes. And utility is an interesting concept. Kevin and I talk about this quite often, that a lot of people scream for utility, you give me utility, and they're like, well, that's not the utility I wanted. It's a conundrum. And what we're working through here is that we're going to continue to build the games and experiences that we're that we've been working on for a while here. People will come into the project. What is important to know is that this first set of 20,000 will have this, the folks that have been grinding, getting theirs to level 5, you will get better stat caps than folks who come in later. They'll never be able to achieve what you're achieving now. That's part of it. That's the reward for the early access and other things that you'll get for this early access period. I guess if you're familiar with a system like, say, a Steam, there's early access period, blah blah blah. There's going to be benefits down the line, and we're figuring out what those systems might be still. And keeping in mind again that we know that the people that are here now, the early folks, the believers, are certainly our core NFT holders and the people that are supporting the project. And we're going to always think about those people first, and how we design the systems, while also designing good games that other people will come into. I know that Yuzu mentioned breeding. Breeding is absolutely on the table. That's why the contract is the way it is, the smart contract that is, in order to facilitate further Gribbles in the future. Should they sell out at some point, as we the game, say we deliver a game, everybody loves it, people come in, they buy it to 20,000. We can make choices at that time how we give bring more Gribbles to the party, which could be through breeding, which could be through a different type of launch, different metadata than what the metadata of today is. So a lot of possibilities on the table. Again, what we're trying to do is build gaming systems first, that then deliver value to the folks who are in now, who are grinding now. So you'll get that value down the road for sure.
Yeah, that's a very good answer to that, I think. And I'll add that designing all these Gribble Games systems and things like that. The Twilight Shift experience has obviously solidified a lot of our systems and thinking about the games, and obviously the not really wait and see, but just learning from experience and now seeing how the launch has gone, number of holders, sales, etc. The market itself right now, the Ethereum merge, like Polygon and Matic chain making partnerships left and right. Like there's a million things to observe and learn from that we're thankful for, that we do actually have the time to continue to make these decisions to try and get everybody as much value and enjoyment as they possibly can. So whether that's in the form of games, lore, or return on investment, can be difficult, tightrope to walk. And obviously with factors outside of our control, things like the Ethereum merge and bear markets and whatnot, we're still continuing to build and deliver and iterate on everything. So I think that with the volume that we have right now on Gribble Eggs, it will continue to sell and build. And once a game is actually able to be shown to all of you and testable and shareable and things like that, obviously there will be more tentpole events for Duskbreakers in the future, right? The hatching, the reveal of all these eggs is going to be a massive event. The reveal of the gameplay systems that they're involved in will be another massive event. So we're still making it, right? We don't want to invite everyone too early to play something they can't engage with properly. So whether it's 6,000 Gribbles on hatch day or 20,000, either way, it's not contingent on the number. So the breeding possibility also still being worked out, still observing other systems and games as well as we go. So we're thankful that other projects in the system are learning alongside us. We're not in a vacuum here, trying to figure it all out ourselves as fast as possible. So that's just more of a personal take, less of a meta theory official take, but it's still the truth. Like we're building and learning every single day as we continue here. So thanks for sticking with us. And of course, word of mouth is definitely a helpful tool to get people involved, showing them, even this AMA video or some of the sizzle reels or anything, Twitch clips from Dilu or Yuzu, for example. So continue to stick with us and we'll continue to provide, but not maybe the answer Yuzu was looking for yet. Obviously, once we're ready to say this is the Gribble game, we're going to make a big deal out of it and everyone will see it and know and want to share. So pending.
Yuzu was looking for alpha.
He's already trying to build the spreadsheet, so
he's looking for alpha. I appreciate that. I respect the hustle.
Absolutely. See if any more. I see Dilu actually asked some questions here. Asking about our friend Adam. Haven't heard from AB recently. What's he been up to? Bernie or Jason want to tackle that one?
He's been lifting weights. He's preparing for the gun show. That's what he's been doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, AB's always super busy. He runs our our operations side of the house, finance, all those sorts of things. So you can imagine how busy, and on a general basis, he is. With everything that is that required to run our company and help hire people, make sure the books are all lined up and we're spending our money correctly. So Adam definitely has his hands full. He's always around. He's actually, I chat with him quite a bit, as we look to continue to model out how we market and get these Gribbles in people's hands and tell our stories. So
yeah, he's very busy guy.
Dilu's other question, will we be learning about more of the Shadow District or other districts soon? The answer would be yes.
Dilu's been asking this question for months.
And the answer is yes. Okay.
What if we're just like, nah, we decided that's it. Call it good.
We decided to change the Shadow District into the Sunlight District. Yeah, screw you, I guess. No, I'm kidding.
Climate change really ruined everything for Machafuku.
Yeah, so all good, but no, we are actively working. I'll say that, like, we are actively working on Shadow District content. So
let me say this, Bernie, is like, I'll give the team kudos. Like, there's a mountain of lore that folks haven't seen, and in the process, and Bernie, you can go through the rest. Is like, you guys are just being super thorough. You're covering every base and making sure that we have a solid base, so we don't run into Game of Thrones final season where we're out of source material. So we're building up the source material pile, right?
I have all sorts of explanations of why Game of Thrones season 8 was the way it was. That wasn't just they ran out of source material. For example, Game of Thrones season 6 was actually relatively solid, and that was all new material. So anyway, all right. Now this is not a Game of Thrones show. But
next week.
Just to kind of tease what I mean by that is what the lore team has been building out has been a ton of lore. We actually have a lot of lore and backstory and world building and elements of stuff. And so what we are kind of working with is, how do we present this lore, and how is it shown? And so there's tons of ways to present lore. Like, you can go all the way from a tweet, and text, to all the way through to feature film level of presentation. And so what we're looking at is, how is the best way to do this with keeping in mind how much we want to present so far, how fast we want to present it, and the mediums of how we want to present it, which is the big thing. And so this is where us as a team, this is honestly been a bit of a challenge, because we're trying to do we are doing a lot at the same time. And a lot of these initiatives require the use of the same areas of assets, meaning artists, designers, engineers, and all these type of things. So just letting you know that like, we're trying to be deliberate with it. Like, what we don't want to do, the thing we just do not want to do, is just do a big info dump of information. I can't get behind that. Sorry.
We got to do the show part of show and tell.
I can't get behind that. I just like we're I mean, I guess if we wanted to start writing novels, we could, but I just don't think that's the best way to do this. We're very visual. We have a lot of great artists. Our art is great, and so we just want to synergize that together. Anyway, here's Delu's question. Saw the social media manager job posting. What's the team looking for there? Jason, what is the team looking for in the social media manager job posting?
Well,
let me tell you. Let Jason tell you.
A very experienced social media manager. Definitely looking to. So Bernie just talked about sort of content in a way. The lore feeds the content, and so Bernie and I, just so everybody knows, that Bernie and I talk or meet almost every day or every other day for sure, and that's what we're doing. We're ideating content that we would then position on social media, and so a lot of that will have to do with utilizing. What's hot today. So TikTok, tall format, more, we see Reels perform well on Instagram now. The things we're not always 100% sure of, like they're feeding conversion, but trying to create more content for these platforms in order to start to graduate in their algorithms. You want to get hundreds of views on a regular basis. That moves you into the thousands of views, then to the 5,000s of views, and et cetera, et cetera. People who know what the current meta of like a YouTube is, the thumbnail game, the titles and the faces and all that stuff that you see these days. Like, we do have to optimize for each platform, and so I definitely looking for somebody who's skilled in that area, who understands the algorithms and will know time of day. What we should transition to, especially on a very flexible basis, because again, we have a lot of characters we can play with. We have access to voiceover folks and Bernie's and team's immersive content to play with. So we have a lot of opportunity here, and we want to make sure that we're really getting getting a strong person who is in the know now, who's done this with hopefully another decent sized brand that can then push us forward. Much more of a sort of, I guess you would say, middle of career than early career, unless that early career has like had a lot of exposure to a lot of content on some of these either YouTube, TikTok, and et cetera platforms.
Cool. And I did just show the jobs page as well during that. So there's a quite a number of roles we're still hiring for. Lots of engineers, game designers, obviously. So, yeah, tell a friend that they should come work at MetaTheory. We have it's about 5:57 p.m. here, so close to the hour. We've got another question in Twitch chat from Jasmine, which is story lore related. Can you give more details on what's happening to our Gribbles during each stage? So there were 3 stages. 1, when we first got our eggs.
Details. Okay.
And then stage 2, we saw visual change. So everyone saw that at least.
You know, that's a good question. It's a good question, Jasmine. I don't think I'm going to do it justice by saying it. So I'm going to put that in the queue and try to give you something better. Seriously, hold on. I'm just going to write this right now. This is how we roll.
Okay.
But I mean, with that, guys, viewers and stuff, please, I mean, when you have questions like this, feel free to throw them in Discord. You know, we do look at them. I'm not saying it's never happened. We do see them, but this is great. Like a question like this from Jasmine is great. Like it's a great question, and this is where I feel like I go, all right, there's the version of me just telling you, but I think there's a better version of this. So give me a beat on that, and I will get back to you on that one.
Not during this show, you're saying, but on Discord at a future point.
At a future point. Yeah. We'll do something a little better at that.
Okay. Looking forward to it, says Jasmine. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So just a couple of minutes left in the show. I'll start the, reminders for everyone in case another question comes in here. We'll go ahead and work toward the end of the show. But of course, the reminders for me are, I'll pull up my eggs once again for everyone to look at. Don't forget, you can still play to mint if you have not done so already. That's duskbreakers.gg/Adrian. You can see on your screen. You can start that whole process. I've already done so. So again, you can see my eggs all maxed up to level 5 now. I've got some Omnigrow left. I could go on OpenSea or LooksRare, wherever eggs are being sold, and spend some more points before the experience ends. We got your missions, lots of things to do, reading lore, story, Adrian's Sanctuary. There's a new chapter. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We still got up to chapter 16 left to come. So definitely continue checking the website. And right now we have the 1,000,000 point contest on Twitter, which I will go ahead and pull up here as well. But that is scoring 1,000,000 points on Twilight Shift in a single run, or 40,000 points on the Beast Battler in a single run if you're unable to do the Twilight Shift launcher stuff. That ends tomorrow. So if you have not challenged yourself in Twilight Shift to get to that point, do it today, do it tonight, do it right after we get off the stream here. It looks like Tasty Bacon did it during the stream. So congratulations, and thanks for proving my point that anyone can do it. It's not that hard. And challenge yourself a little bit beyond just the daily. That's pretty much it for me. Any reminders from Jason or Bernie before we close the show?
I'm good.
Cool. I have one thing.
Do it.
But you put a finger up.
I'll go one thing real quick. Any suggestions? So this is the new format we're trying. We're trying to do this visually. Okay, maybe it's on Twitch, maybe it's on more platforms. If you have any suggestions of what we do to enhance this experience, visually, whatever. We're definitely trying to make this more of a show than just voices talking. So any suggestions that you love, things you'd love to see, throw in the Discord.
Yeah. Polls, interviews, user-generated content. If we do like an art contest showing some of the entries and stuff, these are all definitely planned already. But yeah, definitely hit us ideas and suggestions. There is a channel on Discord as well.
Go, Jason.
Yes, and we do have some news that we'll have a big survey that goes out on Monday.
Ooh.
So that our product team is going to be putting out a survey, and we're going to put it everywhere. We're going to put it in Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all the fun stuff. We'll also be sending it by email, just to remind folks. We're starting to use email more. I am, trying to really reach everybody where they are at all times, let them know about everything. Especially since not everybody's in Discord, not everybody's on Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. But we have a survey coming out. The product team is really looking forward to your feedback. They'll be also looking to do potentially one-on-one product interviews with folks if you opt into such a thing. It could be down the road to something that we're some of the things that we're thinking about too from the community perspective would be something like a player council. that could be part of like would help us with some of our product stuff and testing and bouncing ideas off of. So those sorts of things representing the community, that might come down the line here as we form some more things for our engaged community to do. Those of you that are here in this chat, in the Twitch chat, as well as Discord, keep that in mind. So big survey coming on Monday. Please, please, please complete it. And you will get a gold star from me, a thumbs up. But yeah, really appreciate the feedback. And everybody's been doing great, giving us feedback so far, asking questions, participating, helping each other out. I know one of the things that folks may have seen, and he couldn't make it today, but Igor Kara, who has become a mod officially in our community, in our Discord. He happens to speak both English and Russian. He's been super helpful, trying to help folks out, keeping things going, keeping the mood up, helping our Russian-speaking community. He himself is from Belarus, and he's a hockey player, and so he couldn't make it today because he has a big hockey match tomorrow, and he needed his rest. And this is at a odd time of day for our European community members, and we know that. And maybe also part of the feedback is, and we've definitely got it from our European folks, is trying this at a different time of day, as well as Bernie was saying, that we're looking for where we fit this in. What's the sweet spot? Maybe different sweet spots so that we can reach as many people as possible.
Yeah, so survey on the horizon, another contest spinning up next week. Million point contest wraps tomorrow, so you can enjoy your weekend. And that's basically it for us, I believe. Don't see
Yeah.
Don't see any further questions in Twitch chat, so we're going to say goodnight. All of us here are Pacific time zone, so good night from the Pacific time zone, but have a good day or night wherever you are, and we'll see you again next time, or on Twitter or Discord. Please do check us out there, and we'll see you later. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Smell you later.